Alright, what's up guys? So today I figured I'd go ahead and do a how-to video because I gotta fix this thing to get to work. So yeah, basically what happened, I'll show you guys what's going on, but whenever you turn the key, it's acting like the battery is dead, which I know is not the case because the battery is pretty new, and recently the past couple of days I've heard the starter begin to like make a really bad noise. So, and then yesterday I got in the truck, tried to start it, and it's just clicking. I'll show you guys what I mean. So I'll put the key in, all the power comes on, turn it, nothing, just clicks. So I did some research on it and it looks like it's more than likely the starter contacts, and I figured it's easier just to replace that than spend $100 to get a new starter. So it's $30 versus $100, and it's also easier just to replace the contacts. So I'm gonna show you guys how to do that today. This is my first time doing it, but it doesn't seem too difficult. We'll see how hard it is. I highly doubt it's that hard. This right here is what I bought to replace. About 30 bucks from O'Reilly's. AutoZone didn't have it, only O'Reilly's did. And honestly, probably the only thing we'll be replacing is like the actual contact. I don't know, we'll see how it goes. I might replace as much as possible that needs to be replaced. And it also doesn't help that I drove this thing into a lake.
We didn't think it'd be this deep, but it's this deep.
Gabe didn't think it would be this deep.
Look at water, dude. Holy shit.
I showed them.
Okay.
So that's probably part of the reason why it's going out. Another thing guys, always use a jack stand, and also in this particular situation, I'm gonna disconnect the battery on the negative side because there is a lot of voltage that goes through that starter, a lot of amperage mainly. But yeah, so if you were to short yourself while touching the starter, it could hurt pretty bad. It's not even touching, that's good. All right, so we got the wheel off. Next step is to take this dust cover off, and as you can see, the truck was nice enough to go ahead and take that off for me. Then the starter motor actually sits right here. You can see it pretty easily, but you can start to see how actually removing this thing would be a pain in the ass. So hopefully we don't have to completely remove it. But the next step I'll show you guys is to go ahead and disconnect this exhaust mount right here. It actually has 3 bolts. I'm about to figure out what size that is. We got 1 bolt right here, and then 2, if I can get that on camera, up there. It's kind of hard to see. Yeah, you can see it now. There's 2 bolts on the side and 1 bolt on the actual exhaust. I can tell you guys right now, it's gonna be a pain in the ass to take out. So I'm gonna see if I have some PP Blaster or something to go and spray on that to kind of loosen it up. Probably all 3 bolts are gonna be like this, but like I tried taking a breaker bar to it and it just is not budging. So before I strip the head, I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can get some PP Blaster on that. So the WD-40 worked like a damn charm. So pro tip guys, before you strip the bolts, try WD-40, PP Blaster, something, oil, try something. It like worked so good. I need to use it more often. So I'm gonna get this bolt out, get the other 2 out, and move on. All right, so here is the exhaust mount, thingamajigger, whatever you want to call it, and the 3 bolts right there. I couldn't get it on video because I don't have a third hand, but the 2 on, actually all 3 of them were hard to get. Let me be honest with you guys. It's a very tight space because you have to worry about the exhaust too. So I couldn't really use the breaker bar, so I relied on the WD-40 to kind of loosen it up, and I was able to just yank them out. If you have an impact wrench, it might help, but honestly, it's just something that takes a little bit of strength. So next, we're gonna go ahead and take the starter bolts out. I sprayed out WD-40 as well, and then, well, actually, before we do that, we're gonna go ahead and disconnect the wires that hold, the wires that go to the starter. There should be 2. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that first. All right guys, so there's 1 wire and 1 connector, and my thumb is on the wire right now. I believe it's a 12 millimeter, and it should just pop off. Yeah, and a washer just fell. All right, so disregard the ice cream truck in the background, but we're right behind the front CV axle, and as you guys can see, this is what we're gonna get into. This is the starter motor. I believe that's the solenoid. There's 3 bolts, there's 7 millimeters, and I've already got 2 of them out. 1 right there, 1 right there, and the last one's in that far corner. So we got the cover off and pulled out whatever the hell this thing is. Looks like a plunger. I don't know what that's called, but it is what it is. And the final step to this, well, not really the final step, but as you guys can see, our 2 contacts are right here, and there's just a nut that holds it on. And I really need to pay attention here, but try and watch the order that everything comes off. And this whole component is what we're replacing. And as you guys can see, if we can zoom in there, the contacts are very well worn. So let's go ahead and pull them out and get a closer look at it. All right, finally got the first contact off. I didn't realize there's actually 2 nuts on it, guys. Be sure to check if there's 2 nuts on it, because I took one off and tried just taking a hammer and screwdriver to it and didn't realize there was a second nut. So I wasted like 10 minutes of time just not knowing that. Anyways, I don't know why I was holding the new one. This is the old one. And as you guys can see, old versus new. That's how badly it was worn down. So pretty bad. And obviously this got to the point where the starter would just click. So we're gonna go ahead and put it all back together and see if she works. One thing, guys, I think I mentioned it earlier, but make sure you take note on how everything comes apart as far as the contacts go. There's like 4 or 5-ish different pieces. You got a grommet, a washer, all that good stuff. Just make sure you get the right order. That way, whenever you go to put the new one in, you have the same order and everything is how it should be. So, yeah, this kind of sucked just because literally every bolt has been here for 20 years and has not been touched more than likely. So, took a lot of WD-40. Oh god! Oh god! Oh my gosh!
That's what broke first.
That's so bad.